afternoon or good morning. It is Friday, and it is week 7 of the NFL season, and we are the Sportsintel.com podcast. I'm Jeff. You got Vic over here. You got Eric's down there, and Matt below down over here. And we are all ready to go to talk about another intriguing week in the NFL season, a week where we're actually going to play all the games that are on the schedule, looks like. Knock on wood. Seems to be all systems go. And we had the, Super Bowl preview last night between the Giants and the Eagles, a barn burner that probably determined the outcome of the NFC East. And it was another big night for our man Vic. And so as we seem to do every single time we have a podcast, we start by saying, Vic, tell us how you did so great with your picks, because he does great all the time. And again, if you want to win money, you listen to Vic and you follow his picks. So, Vic, talk to me a little bit about last night and what you liked beforehand and how it all went down for you.
Yeah, man. I don't want to jinx it, but it was a good night. We went 3-0, so up the board. I liked the Giants, and they had a shot to win that game straight up. I liked Greg Ward over 3.5 catches. He had 3 by halftime and cashed pretty early, which was nice. And then I said if you want to parlay this game, to take the under, and that held as well after some late dynamite stuff by Carson Wentz. But your boy, Evan Ingram, Jeff, might have bailed me out on the under there because definitely dropped an easy touchdown at the end there. So now it was a good night, man. 3-0. It's been a good couple of weeks trying to keep this rolling. So I'm excited for week 7. There's definitely a couple of games that I like. We can talk about it, and my picks will be up on sportsintel.com later today.
All right. Well, we're gonna. I think this week we're going to wait on Vic. We're gonna let everybody else chime in with their picks, and then we'll let Vic hit cleanup to drive in all the runs. And we will talk a little bit about the World Series later. And if any of you guys have a college game or two you want to talk about, feel free. But I'm going to start with Eric because Eric is having a very special day today, because Cam Newton talked to Pro Football Talk, I guess yesterday or this morning, and admitted that he is really not playing well and he's having a terrible season. And, Eric's been saying that all along. So, Cam's finally catching up. He's obviously watching the podcast and going, Eric's right. So, Eric, why don't you go ahead and lead us off? What do you like this weekend? And, take a bow. You also can take a bow.
I do think the Pats have a chance to win.
Ooh. That's a good one. That's going to be a good game. Oh, Eric.
I think you got
turn on your mic, man. The world needs to hear you. You're on mute.
There you go.
There you go. Go ahead. Start again.
That was just a technical glitch. Despite any personal opinion I might have about Newton, they're going up against the Niners, and the Pats have a good chance of winning this game. But it won't be because of anything Newton does. If anything, it's going to be because the Niners just can't pull it together. I'm not going to rub it in Newton's nose, but he did say it. He admitted it. He told ESPN, I just haven't been good. I haven't matched enough good plays together for my liking. That's what it comes down to. When I mean good plays, I mean right reads. I mean ball positioning. I mean making guys miss. Well, that basically covers everything the quarterback is supposed to be doing. And he's just not doing it, So we'll see. He's had a rough couple of years, and this year has been tough once again because of COVID for him. So we'll see if he can pull it together. Even if he's not at his own best, the Pats still have a good chance to pull it out against the 49ers. And, the Bears and Rams game should be another good contest as well. I'm really looking forward to that. The Bears are surprising everybody except for Vic, and they'll keep it up. They're going to have a good run this year. So, these are 2 games that are going to really put on a good show this weekend. And you've also got to give a little bit of you to the Titans and the Steelers game.
Yeah.
Titans are looking to keep their shutout running, and they have a good chance of doing it. So they'll probably be the three best games this weekend.
Let me throw this out to anybody that wants to chime in. Yeah, I like to get my narratives going and how they could impact the game. What do we think about Jimmy G here in this spot against his former coaches and teammates? It's not that long ago. Do we think that impacts his performance going up against the Patriots, and does that maybe boost San Francisco's chances? Do we think that Jimmy G will rise to the occasion here and try to stick it to his former team, or do we think that he will maybe kind of almost be too hyped up for it, and then give a bad performance? How do we think that little drama plays out?
No, I mean, do you see it as too big of a drama? I mean, he's been gone for quite a while, and it's not really the same team. I mean, him and Tom Brady were kind of the guys there, right? It was 1 and 2. Tom's not even there anymore. And I don't remember too much animosity from Jimmy G's side when he left. I think that was the plan, stick under Brady. You're probably never going to play, but you're going to get some amazing training. So I would say that I don't think he looks at it as a rivalry game in that way, personally.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he's got the talent. I just don't think he's got the offensive line to give him the support he needs right now. And that's not necessarily a slam on the Niners. Look at all the injuries they've had to deal with.
Right.
And that's what's going to come into play for them. That's part of the reason the Pats are going to be able to come out ahead in this game.
Okay.
I actually think it benefits the Patriots. I feel like Hoodie, you got your hood on, and I got my hood on. Bill Belichick, a.k.a. Hoodie, he's coming off of a loss, and he knows everything about Jimmy G. He knows him well. He knows all his tendencies. So Belichick off of a loss, I agree with Eric 100%. I actually like the Patriots a lot this weekend. I think this is a good spot for them. Last week was a tough, they canceled practice. They had all these COVID concerns. They get a bunch of guys back this weekend. And it's a little bit of a buy low, sell high type situation where the Niners are coming off of a big win. The Patriots are coming off of a bad loss. So I actually like the Pats this weekend. And the other big reason I like the Pats is because the Niners got a really big game next week. I know these are grown men, NFL. They don't look ahead, but they got a big game against the Seahawks next week. And just like they knew they had to win that game against the Rams last weekend, maybe they look ahead a little bit. If they lose this game, it's not as bad for their season, right? So, but I think the Jimmy G thing, to your question, Jeff, it plays into Belichick's hands a little bit.
Okay. Yep. I don't know. And I think, Matt, it's a good point. I mean, it just seems like it was only yesterday, but I guess it has been about 3 years now since he got traded. And the one thing I do know is that Belichick loved him. I know the talk in Boston when it happened, at least in talk radio in the Boston area, was that, it was Kraft. Kraft is the one that wanted it, that forced that trade on Belichick, and that Belichick really was hoping to move Brady sooner than he did because he wanted to give the job because he thought Garoppolo was going to be great. And so he was not really all that happy about trading him, but they kind of had, they're forced into it. So yeah, I think in that sense there probably isn't. I think if there was any animosity, it was between Jimmy G and TB12, and that's not there anymore. Yeah, if Brady were still coaching, or if Brady were still the quarterback, maybe it'd be a different thing. Boy, can you imagine what it'd be? That game would be hyped like you wouldn't believe. But he's not. So yeah, maybe that won't necessarily be as much of a factor. Matt, what do you like? What games are standing out to you this weekend? What do you like?
Personally, I like the Tampa Bay game against the Raiders, especially now that news broke that the entire offensive line of the Raiders is going to be taking a vacation this weekend on the COVID list. So Derek Carr is going to be running for his life. Tampa's second in the league in sacks, I believe. And Yeah, I mean, they're getting. I think it's only a 4-point spread right now.
Yeah.
So I really
Is
like
that game
Tampa
still
Bay in
even on
this
the
game,
board?
and
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Is that game still
No.
even on the board?
It's off board in Vegas, but it's back on some offshores at like 4. So
Okay.
I think they're waiting for the final word today. But I know Schefter tweeted a little few like hours ago that everything looks good so far.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess that would be pretty tough if your entire offensive line's not there. You see how the Eagles struggle with just a couple of them out. I got a couple I like, but I'm going to go. Well, go ahead, Vic. Why don't you go? The people have been waiting for Vic. They're not here to hear my picks. They don't want to hear what Matt and Eric have to say. They want to know what Vic's going to do because Vic's the moneymaker.
Now
So, Vic,
that's the only reason I'm here.
Yeah, we're all listening too. Vic, what do you got?
No, if you think about it, the whole pod's been hot the last couple of weeks. Remember 2 weeks ago we kind of had a malfunction with our recording.
Right.
But we called.
We assure you we were right on everything.
Last couple of weeks, I mean, we've called a lot of these games to play out the way that we thought they were going to play out, right? So, but no, Eric nailed it with the Patriots. That's one of my favorite picks this week, and I actually love the Panthers this week. I know we talked about it a little earlier this week, Jeff, when we were doing the look-ahead stuff, but I think they have a chance to win this game, man. This is another situation where it's like recency bias. They lost to the Bears. But they had a lot of chances to win that game, and Teddy Bridgewater as a dog has been really, really good the last couple of years. So to me, it's too many points. This is not the same Saints team without Michael Thomas. It's not the same Saints team without their home field advantage. To be able to get more than a touchdown, and then there were little concerns about a couple of guys that self-reported that they came in contact with the COVID list stuff, including their kicker and O-lineman. But today they're all good to go. So,
yeah.
So I love those two picks, man. Those are my favorites. And then a game I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on was the Washington football team against the Cowboys, because in my opinion, after what I saw and the fact that today more O-linemen are down for the Cowboys, I like the Washington football team. I think their D-line is very strong. That's the only strength of their team. And to go up against that O-line, that's going to be a big mismatch, big advantage, and I think they have the better coach. So I want to throw it back out to you guys, and have you guys thought about that game, and what are your thoughts on that game? And then, Jeff, you can lead into your picks.
Yeah, actually, I'll go ahead because I have 6 games that I listed, but my first 2 are Washington and Carolina.
Okay.
And I, for most of the same reasons that you just gave, that this is it's a huge game for Dallas. We're going to find out. I think we find out everything we're going to need to find. You know, they still have what, like 8 or 9 games after this week, but I think everything you need to know about the Dallas Cowboys we're going to find out on Sunday. And the Washington defensive line. I mean, like Chase Young, is he back? He's back, right? Yeah, I mean they were missing a couple guys for a couple. I mean now that line is back intact. They're going to come after Dalton like gangbusters, and I just don't know if he's going to be able to withstand that kind of pressure and get the ball out. I mean, he's got the guys to get the ball out too, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it. And Washington's offense has obviously been a little bit better since they made the quarterback change. Not great, nothing special, but good enough. So I like Washington too, but boy, Dallas. I hope they spend some time looking in the mirror, because they got to decide, like, are they going to be competitive or not? And Zeke's got to hold on to the ball, and I mean, I guess in a way I wouldn't be if you told me that the Cowboys won by like 3 touchdowns. I guess I wouldn't be shocked, because maybe they're going to really rise up and say enough is enough, and we're a good team and we're going to show you. But I don't know. I don't know that they are going to do that. So that's why I like Washington, and I love Carolina getting all those points. I don't think there's a narrative necessarily there either. I mean, maybe there is. I don't know how Teddy Bridgewater feels about the fact that the Saints. But I mean, what do you think? I'm sure he's like, oh yeah, they should have kept me instead of Drew Brees. I mean, so no, probably not. But it's a chance for him, I would imagine. I'm sure he's going to be a little extra motivated to play well against them. And they're playing well. Carolina's
They
playing
are.
well.
To your point, Jeff, I think it's like Matt said about Jimmy G too. It's like Teddy ended up in a better situation. He's starting. They're playing well. He's the man, and he got paid. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't know
He's
why.
probably grateful. He's
Yeah,
probably more grateful
that's
for the
the
same
thing.
than anything else.
I don't think it's really like a revenge narrative.
No. But he'll probably but you would think just naturally you go up against a team that
Exactly.
you're gonna wanna
He's a competitor. Like he'll
Yeah.
want to show, like, hey, I can ball. Like maybe you should have picked me, but I don't think it's more vengeful. I think it's just him being a good ball player, like competitive guy.
and for them, look, this is a huge game. Like they have to be saying to themselves, we can win this division. They're getting McCaffrey back next week. Like what a great win this would in the division win against a team that was expected to win the division, to beat them, and then you get your best player back, and they've been they have a tremendous opportunity here. So yeah, and again, they're getting 7.5. That's a lot. They're better than that. I think they played better than that. So, we'll see. I got to ask you guys. I got two big dogs that I love because I love when teams are huge underdogs like this. Again, I may need an intervention. I love the Jets. I love the Jets getting 11.5 against the Bills, who have been not so great.
Bad.
11.5.
Darnold's coming back too.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like they could keep this. Something's wrong with the Bills, and we know what's wrong with the Jets, but that's what they are. But the Bills are playing so below their ability. Who's to say they won't do it one more week? 11.5. That's a lot. So I don't know. Anybody think I'm nuts for wanting to take the Jets side of that one?
I don't think you're
I do.
nuts, but I don't think I could do it. I can see this Bills team pissed off after 2 bad losses and just, hammering these guys, or I can see them land another dud. So I'm staying away from this game. Normal years, I would take the home dog getting that many points, but with this stuff, COVID this year, there's no real home field advantage, and how bad the Jets have been, I'm laying off. I do think it's a good play, but I just don't want to put real money on this game and then be upset after the first quarter. So, Matt, what do you think? You think it's he's crazy?
Yeah, sure. Okay, we get Darnold back. Okay, and I think they're getting some of their receivers back this week as well. But okay, sure. The Bills have not been playing as well as we expect them to. Maybe we want them to, and they need to. But they're still playing a hell of a lot better than the Jets are. They got shut out by the Dolphins, for God's sake. And I think the Bills.
They played 2 good teams to their defense.
11.5. 11.5. That's
I think it's more. I'm less saying that I would bet against them, that I would just be off the game. I think it's
home dogs getting 10 or more. That's the rule.
All right, fine. Look for the stat. I get it. You're right, but it's still the Jets. Now it's a better Jets team than we saw last week. But so what? They score 3 points.
Yeah, I'm not putting my rollover IRA on it.
All right.
But I think it's interesting. That's a lot.
It is interesting, but maybe not the IRA. Maybe like a Sunday lunch at like a old country.
Yeah, maybe it's right, a Sunday lunch. I'm just like, I guess what I'm saying is, to me, this is a referendum on the Bills. Are the Bills the team that won their first 4, or are they the Bills? Are they the team that's played the last 2 weeks and have just? And I know they played 2 really good teams too. So it's not like they did this against the Jets, but. True. At 11.5, I'm willing to roll the dice that maybe the Bills, maybe they have one more week. I'm not, and I expect.
No, it's fair. I get it.
The Bills will probably win, but will they win by 2 touchdowns? I don't know.
I don't know about that. We were talking about the Ravens last week, who screwed me anyway, but they're a team that doesn't back off when they're winning or against bad teams. Right. I don't know if the Bills are that team. I haven't looked into them as much, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think the Bills aren't as bad as we think they are right now. Like you said, they had 2 really bad matchups, tough matchups.
Yeah.
Now they might not be the Super Bowl contenders that we thought, but again, I think they're good enough to beat the Jets by double digits.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about the Jets. Darnold is coming back, but he's still not 100%. At least that's the story they're giving to the press, right? He's still having trouble with his shoulder. So if that's to be believed, he's not going to be able to give everything he has. Even if he did, I don't think they would be able to come out above the Bills. And at this point, the best solution, like we talked about last time, take a loss on the season, go after Lawrence in the draft, but trade him out for an entirely new offensive line. Lawrence won't stay with the team. We know that. He's, from what the rumors have been flying around. He's not a prospect that would want to land on the Jets runway. But they could still pick him up, get some money by trading him out for some a lot more value on an offensive line that can get things done. I at this point, I could not put any money on the Jets winning anything this year. And we'll see. If Darnold is not able to produce the way that Gase is talking, then they're definitely done for.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that I am not saying the Jets are going to win this game. No. But that line is 11.5. It's just
it's tasty. Line. I get it. It's tasty.
Very tasty.
It's like that the forbidden
Sunday
apple.
Brunch.
Maybe.
It is.
That's all. So you're right, Eric. I agree with you 100%. But I am not. I fully expect the Jets will lose this game, but I just don't think they're going to lose by 12 to this Bills team the way they're playing right now. That's all. But you're right. And I was talking with a friend the other day, and we were trying to map out what teams are in the position where they would want to trade for that pick because they want to get Lawrence, and have sort of what would the Jets want, and do they have it? So I want to just throw one out. So we'll just divert for a second. How about the Carolina Panthers? Teddy's not going to play forever, obviously, even when he's playing well. Presumably, McCaffrey will be back to being the Christian McCaffrey we all know and love. So if you're Carolina, could you see – and we know the Jets are in pretty desperate need for a running back, among other things. I mean, they certainly need that. If you're Carolina, do you dangle a Mike Davis plus all the picks in the world to the Jets for the number 1 pick?
I don't think they do because they invested in Teddy, I feel like, and he's playing well. So it's they went out and got him and paid him, and he's playing well. So
Trevor Lawrence in Carolina?
True. I mean, once in a lifetime kind of stuff. So maybe see how the year plays out first. And if they start, spinning off and tailing off and they're not what they thought they were, but it's a new coach. And I would love to see Trevor Lawrence with CMC and Matt Rule, that coach. I mean, that would be – and Robbie Anderson, who the Jets gave away for nothing. I mean, that would be a nasty squad.
I just can't
– on their way down and –
yeah,
to see Carolina ascending.
I mean, if McCaffrey is back to being then Mike Davis is a luxury.
True.
But he's so good right now that I can't imagine they're going to – for the rest of this year, they're obviously going to make it work. And they probably – McCaffrey will be back, but I bet you he won't be at that kind of workload that he's been at. He doesn't need to be. But after this year, I can't imagine they're going to keep both. And Davis, I think, is his stock is as high as it's ever going to be. And so, and again, the Jets are if they could get, a prime running back and still get depending on where Carolina winds up finishing, maybe it still winds up being a top 10 or 12 pick. And if they're still convinced that Darnold is the guy, so they're not really looking for a quarterback, I don't know. I thought that was an interesting team possibility. There are a couple others, but that was the one that I thought was particularly interesting because they might have what the Jets actually need that would make it worth their while to consider it. So my other big dog, I will already admit I'm out of my mind, but I'm just curious because it's a division game, and I feel like the Denver Broncos, when they play Kansas City, tend to have success. Now, last year, part of it was because Mahomes got hurt. It was the Thursday night game, I think, when Mahomes hurt himself. But I just feel like the Broncos, for whatever reason, have always played Kansas City tough. 9.5. I have a little bit of interest in Denver getting 9.5. That one I might actually be crazy, but I don't know, especially because it also plays into my Jets Bills thing in division. You never know what happens in division games. Would anybody like to come with me on a little trip down Broncos way? Not getting 9.5, or am I completely on my own?
I can't do it.
Can't do it.
I thought about it.
You guys are gonna regret it on Monday.
I do.
But I'm a
agree with you. I
champ.
mean, Vic Fangio teams don't really get blown out. I saw him here in Chicago, and they played the Steelers and the Titans tough this year. They've only gotten blown out once this year. So I see it. But, man, every week this Patrick Mahomes just does things that I'm always like, wow. You know, just like even last week against the Bills. I mean, the game got a little tight and, you know, just a nice little scramble pass, big pass for first down. And I just don't think the Broncos have enough firepower to keep up with the Chiefs. It is supposed to snow this weekend, so that helps your cause a little bit, Jeff. Like if there's like a big snow game, right? You know, the high-powered offense might not be what it is, but I just think the Chiefs are too good, man. They're so balanced, right? Like if there's bad weather, they'll just go to CEH and they'll work Le'Veon in, and you know they'll do enough to kind of win this game. So I think the spread is right. I don't really see a value in this. I have it as like a 9-10 point game. So usually I try to see like, hey, if it's way off, then it's worth it for me. But it's going to be anywhere from like 7 to 10 point game. This could be something if people like doing teasers. I agree with you. Tease the two big dogs that you like, and there's some value in that. But I'll probably sit this one out. I just don't see how the Broncos keep up with them. That's my only concern.
Yeah. I could be crazy. Sometimes I get a little crazy.
No, you know, I think they have a better shot at hanging with the Chiefs than the Jets do in their game. But you know, the Broncos have done well covering underdog spreads this season. So I mean, I'll look into that more, Jeff. You might have convinced me to take a flyer on that game because my bets are a little light this week. I know there's not a whole lot I'm really loving, and so I might have to add that in.
Yeah. The only other one that I saw, but we've already talked about it, so I'll just jump on the bandwagon. I love the Bears. They're getting 5.5. I just keep seeing that game from a couple of years ago when they just destroyed. It's like a Sunday night game, and they just made Goff look silly. And I mean, that's when the Bears were like really, you know. But they're kind of getting back to that, you know. And so them getting 5.5 in that spot, I like that. I like them there. I expect. I think they have a better than 50% chance of winning that game on the field. So, I mean, you know, at some point we got to take the Bears seriously, right, Vic?
No, I hope so.
It's for real, right?
I think their defense is real. The question is the question that's been my whole life. It's like, can the offense keep up with the defense? And statistically, to your point, Jeff, all I remember is Jared Goff's face, like wanting to get out of that game 2 years ago after the first quarter. Like, granted, I know it was cold. So a little bit of a different scenario, but this Bears defense is just like the one we saw 2 years ago. They're actually statistically better through 6 games. Not a lot of people, you know that because the offense looks so bad, so they want to point to that. But the defense is bad, and it's like bad in a nasty way. Like they're going to get to them. So to me, this is also a very low total. So Bears are not. I like when you're getting a lot of points, like close to a touchdown on a low total game. Because to me, you know, there's going to be some value. So I think it's going to be a barn burner, quote unquote, like you said, Jeff, like yesterday's game, where it's going to be an ugly game that comes down to the last possession. So 6 points to me with a defense that good, that's top 5 in every statistical category, it's worth getting the points. And there's still a lot of 6s out there if you shop around, so which is a key number. So you can get the Bears +6. And so I tend to agree with you. I'm going to see how Sunday goes, see how the injury reports go. Akeem Hicks, who's probably been the best Bears defensive player, was missed practice yesterday with illness. So, I mean, that's going to be something big to watch because he is their anchor in the middle. And so without him, I don't think they have a chance. Hopefully it's nothing, hopefully it's just kind of an off day. But if he's there, I agree with you, man. They have a chance to win this game, so 6 points is a lot. But the next 3 weeks are going to be tough for the Bears. They might be 7-point dogs for all 3 games. They got Saints and Titans still on deck coming up. So next 3 weeks will kind of define their season. I think if they somehow go 2-1 in those 3, they're probably going to have a shot to win the division. 1 and 2 keeps them in the playoff hunt. But if they go in 3, it's going to be tough. But I do think the offense has a chance to get a little bit better just because they've been so bad. But my biggest concern, to counterpoint you, Jeff, a little bit, is the Bears' offensive line is not good. The defense is kind of covering that up a little bit, and Nick Foles, I think, is covering that up a little bit because he can assess things a little smarter than Mitch, so he makes short, like he gets the ball out a little bit quicker. But Aaron Donald against this line is going to be something to watch, man. Like, he might literally knock Nick Foles out of this game. We might see some Mitch time. So it's going to be something to keep an eye on, man. They're going to have to do something. I'm sure they already know this. That's why they work for the Bears, right? But like,
who's their number 3 quarterback?
Tyler Bray, baby. They protect him every week on the practice squad. So, you know how football fans are, right? They all want to see him. They're like, bring on Bray. So who knows what'll happen, man? But that's the only way I see the Bears getting demolished, is if Aaron Donald just has a monster game and knocks the QB out. Anything can happen every Sunday. But other than that, I think the Bears defense is good enough to keep them in the game all the way down to the fourth quarter.
All right. The only game that I thought was at all interesting is Green Bay. Green Bay's giving 3.5 to Houston. I gotta figure that Green Bay is going to come out pretty hot after what happened last week. That they're not going to let that happen again. And Houston has been better the last couple of weeks. I've been a big proponent of them, but I think that maybe that ship may sail this week. I find it hard to imagine that Green Bay does not put on a good performance this week. So I don't know if anybody feels strongly about that one, but in Aaron, I trust on Sunday.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. I mean, he's playing pissed off, right?
Yeah.
A little bit after last week, and they match up really well. Texans, the Packers really just failed to stop the run that well, and the Texans aren't really going to be doing much of that, especially off the right-hand side. So yeah, I think that's a really good call for you.
Yeah.
I like that game too.
Let me throw it back to you, Jeff. What do you guys think about the over in that game? Because I think that both teams are going to be able to score. I don't see how Houston stops Rodgers from scoring, but I think Watson and company get some points as well. So I actually like the over in that game and might sit out the side just because the line's a little fishy to me. You got Rodgers off of a loss, pissed off, quote unquote, against the Texans defense that is just atrocious, yet the line's kind of hanging around 3 with the public just hammering Green Bay. So that's the only little thing that scares me. But I agree with both of you guys. I don't see how the Packers don't put up a lot of points in this one.
Yeah, and Houston, I mean, they are scoring.
Ever since our boy Bill O'Brien has left, I mean, Deshaun Watson's going crazy, right? They're putting up points, man. That Titans game, they should have won that game.
They should have won the game.
Yeah, and it was a bad beat for people that had +4.5, but they were in that game, and that's a good football team, and they were easily able to get a lot of points on that squad. So Packers D, in my opinion, is still pretty bad. They're bottom third of everything. So I think there's going to be a shootout. Just a little scared of the side. So Eric, what about you, man? What do you think about this game?
I don't know. I've been on the fence with it. I just don't – neither one has been impressing me that much. I don't know that the Packers are keeping it together enough to remain solid throughout the season. I mean, I know that they've been doing – they've done fairly well. They're up 4-1. But during the game, they just have not shown a lot of cohesion, a lot of fluidity with the way that they're playing, and I think that they're going to break down sooner rather than later this season. So I don't give them a lot of support this weekend.
I think that's a sneaky DFS game. I don't even know if it's necessarily sneaky. I haven't done my deep dive on like what ownership's going to be like, but that's a game where I would certainly look, as you're saying, the over is under duress in that one, and that's a game stack possibility where you could like go Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and maybe even if you have the salary, if there's enough value out there, you can go the big three, Rodgers, Adams, and Jones.
What about
and then bring it back with Fuller on the other side?
Yeah, or you could go Watson, Fuller, and kind of Texans.
Yeah, and bring it back with Adams.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're right.
That's or like throw in like some of the secondary pieces, and throw in like a Brandon Cooks or a Fells.
MVS, he might have.
Yeah,
he might be.
This or even the other running back besides
Williams
on the Packers.
Oh yeah, I think
he's been getting. I mean, he's been playing. He winds up. That's an interesting. That's a game I would be looking at if I wanted to like really load up for a millionaire lineup.
Yeah, I might do that. I might just after this pod. See, that's where you get like it's fun like talking to each other because we pick up little things. But I might hit the over in gambling and then, like you said, use that as a DFS stack and just literally load up and.
Just check the ownership. Make sure the whole world isn't thinking what we're thinking, which sometimes happens.
True.
But if it's low, if it's looking like it's going to be a low ownership situation, then I'd be all over it. So, I've been promising these college, and of course I'm the last person you'd ever want to get a college pick from. But does anybody like anything this weekend? They got some. It's like a real college football weekend this weekend. But does anybody see something that they like? The only thing I always like is like, do you bet like what do you do like with the Clemson game? They're favored by 46 points. I love that. I love seeing those crazy wacky lines on college football. And then it's like, so I guess they're playing Syracuse. Like, is Syracuse really that bad that they can't stay within 46 points? I don't know.
Well, I think Clemson's just that good. And the funny thing is that always made me laugh about college lines too. But the craziest thing is it'll fall right there usually. Those 50-point, 40-point spreads, and they're usually dead on. It's always fascinating to me. But, I found that I think Clemson's a good bet most weeks, even with those giant spreads. And, Syracuse is not good enough to hang within 35 points of Clemson, I think, this weekend.
It's like it's a video game, 46 points.
Yeah, with all the sliders turned up.
Okay, with all the sliders turned up. Exactly right. So, has anybody got anything that they like that they say, if you're actually going to bet the college game, this is where I would go? I will throw it open to anyone and anyone.
Nothing that I love this weekend. I might just make Saturday a family day, man, so I can relax and enjoy on Sunday.
Yeah, it's actually probably, and for a lot of these teams, it's probably, even though we're like, it's the end of October, we actually have no idea because they haven't played. It's so strange. I was listening to an interview yesterday. They had the athletic director for San Diego State on the radio yesterday here in lovely San Diego. And that's what they were talking about. It's like it should be week 8. This would have been week 8 of the college season, and for a lot of teams, it's week 1. And so I would imagine it makes it difficult to really know, how to bet some of these games. You have no idea what they're going to look like until they actually play.
No, so you really don't.
Unless it's teams like Clemson's play for a couple of weeks, and maybe some of the teams that have been out there. But for the most part, I would think like a Big Ten team, I might stay away from those games because we gotta kind of get a feel for what these teams are actually like.
That's true. The only question I have for you guys is I feel like OSU's been practicing since day one. Maybe they come out and just smoke cats because everyone else has just been chilling, right? In the Big Ten.
Well, I think that between them and Wisconsin, they're clearly the best teams in the Big Ten anyway. So, I mean, if you're going to – I would say, honestly, hold off this week from anything. But if you're going to bet anybody, I'd just, take a look at Ohio and Wisconsin.
I feel like both of those squads like knew the season was gonna happen, so like they never stopped. Like everyone else, maybe they were like, "Hey, we're just so powerful, we're gonna make this thing happen." Like money, everything, right? But like everyone else, was chilling. But like I remember just OSU videos like on Twitter, social media, like they've been going at it like since day one. So maybe they got a little bit of a jump start. Again, I don't know for sure, and I don't know. I'm going to sit it out, like you said, Matt, just to see how this weekend goes. But just something to keep an eye on this weekend.
But I'm
All
definitely be watching for sure.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
And we'll be back. I'll have some stuff for you guys next week. But again, yeah, it's like I feel too uninformed. It's
Right,
so
I think we all are.
difficult, especially with college too. I mean, even like Michigan's my best bet to try and figure out, a play because that's the team I follow. But I mean, while I don't believe him, Harbaugh still said he doesn't know who his quarterback's going to be on Sunday or Saturday. So, what the hell? What am I going
to? All right, last stop before we say goodbye. We got a baseball game tonight, and a pretty good one. Stellar pitching matchup, maybe the best matchup of the series. Series is 1-1, and this is like a big game. Matt, who is going to prevail in this big game? Who do you like?
I mean, that's a big question. Who's going to win? I don't know. I mean, you're right. This is a fantastic pitching matchup. I really liked what Snell did last night, by the way. And to go back farther, Kershaw had a phenomenal game one, which I don't know. I wasn't really expecting so much, but he looked fantastic. I don't know. I think the Dodgers get one back again tonight, and I think we see a lot of. This is going to be a long series. I think Erik said that maybe we're going to go 6 games at least, and at this point, seems to be the case. Like I said, I like a lot of bounce back wins here, and I think the Dodgers get it done tonight. But I think it's going to be close. I don't think we're going to see a lot like we saw in game one. When was it? Yeah, where they just kind of caught fire in the 5th inning, which was very unexpected, honestly. Like both the pitchers looked fantastic, and then it just was kind of a meltdown on the Tampa Bay Rays side. But I think we're going to see a close game tonight. Dodgers win.
I think tomorrow is the game, because you got to figure right now the Dodgers are going to win Game 5. And the Rays are probably going to win Game 6. Like what happened in the first 2 games is probably just going to repeat itself, because the matchups are so overwhelming one way or the other. So figure, all right, so it's 2-2 between games 1, 2, 5, and 6. Who the hell knows? Like tonight in Game 7, with this matchup, I would imagine again. I would think the most likely outcome is they split. And so that leaves it up to tomorrow, and I don't even know who's starting for the Rays tomorrow. I know it's Urias, right? That's his name, whatever.
Urias, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and whoever he's going up against, like that to me, that's the game. Like whoever wins that game tomorrow is probably going to win the series, because you got
tonight's game is going to be pretty important.
Oh, it is, no question. It definitely is.
There's an interesting stat. I don't know if you're aware of.
Oh, lay it on us.
The winner of Game 3 has gone on to win 69% of the World Series. Okay,
well, that's important.
Yeah, if you want to follow that trend, tonight's game could be the decider.
Could be. Yeah, I just feel like, just statistically speaking, like just if you played it like a million times, like one team should win the matchup tonight, and the other team should win the other matchup. And then, like I said, like games, the Dodgers should win the Kershaw game, and the Rays should win the next Snell game. So they're all kind of like, you could see like those 6 games with those legitimate pitchers splitting. So then the wild card of it all is what happens in Game 4, where there's really you have no idea what's going to happen.
It really could put a lot of pressure on Julio Urias, and he's very young. I don't know what his age is right now, but I think he was one of the youngest players in the league.
He's very young
at one point. So, and I've always been a fan of his. I think he's a fantastic pitcher, but he's not been in a position like this before, especially if the Dodgers lose tonight. I think Bueller throws together a good game. I don't see that happening, but obviously anything's possible. And if that happens, then tomorrow is going to obviously weigh heavily on Julio Urias' shoulders, which I don't know about how that will go, honestly.
I don't even know. What are the Rays doing tomorrow? Is it like a
That I
bullpen
don't
thing?
know.
Is this one of these Ryan Yarborough bullpen games?
Could be. I hate those games too. I have to look.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know. I mean, they probably have a starter, but is he going to go more than like an inning? I mean, it works for them. They make it work. But yeah, I mean, obviously tonight is an enormous game. But I just feel like the team that wins Game 4 of this particular series is probably the team that's going to win the whole thing. So we shall see. But it's going to be worth watching.
If the
I mean,
trend sticks, that would mean the Rays are going to win it, because the Rays should win tomorrow night. If the whole pattern stays intact, the Rays win it tomorrow night, and they go on to win the series.
Could very well be.
And it really wouldn't be that surprising at this point. I mean, before the series started, almost everyone said the Dodgers were going to sweep. And even the Rays fans were a little reluctant to put a lot of weight behind their team.
Eric, by the way, you probably were able to ask all of them.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
But the Rays proved that they deserve to be where they are in Game 2, and they're turning this into a real series. So, nothing is set in stone yet, without a doubt, and it could still easily go either way. So it's going to be an exciting series all the way through.
Yeah, they're like the Heat. The Rays are kind of like the Heat. They don't really have like the big stars like the other teams have, like Milwaukee had or the Lakers had. Now, of course, they didn't beat the Lakers, but but they've kind of got that whole like they're a team. They're some of their parts, kind of they're that kind of thing that does work. So. Yeah, again, I mean, tonight is huge. Obviously, again, I just think because it's such an unknown variable, but what's going to happen tomorrow night? Like, I feel like again, like I said, like games 5 and 6 are kind of like a known variable. It would be hard to believe that the Rays are going to beat Kershaw. It's going to be hard to believe that the Dodgers are going to beat Snell based on what happened in the first 2 games. So you almost go ahead. They're going to split those 2. So, but yeah, I mean, that's why tonight's great too, because it's such a great matchup. Maybe one of them does win twice, wins both of them. But I'd be shocked if this doesn't go 7. But I still think whoever wins tomorrow night is going to be the team that wins the whole thing. It'll go 7 either way. But that's where I'm sitting on this. Like I know. Any closing thoughts?
Carolina Tar Heels take on NC State Wolfpack this weekend. That's going to be a good college game, an old rivalry. And the Tar Heels are doing well this season, finally. So the Wolfpack is higher in the rankings, which is going to make this even more challenging. But it should be a really good game to watch. I don't know if I'd put any money on it, but to watch is going to be fun.
About 15. North Carolina looks like they're getting about 15.
So
does that sound about right?
You're saying put our money on North Carolina?
North Carolina, give them 15? 15 and a half? What do you think, Eric?
Go for it.
Oh, okay.
All right. There you go.
I'll parlay that with my Jets and my Broncos.
Oh.
Tar Heels give the points. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a great weekend. I'll let you guys know. If I don't show up on Tuesday, you'll know I did well.
That's true. Or
you buy the tickets to Aruba.
Or you lost pretty bad, and
or I lost pretty bad, and I don't have clothes, so I can't really, that would be unfortunate. So, all right, guys.
One last thing. Did you guys see that the Twitter feed? The guy who bet supposedly his last $100, right, on a parlay. I think it was either a 4 or 5 leg parlay. It hit $46,000.
Wow.
And he was supposedly playing his last $100.
Every bet that I make is my last $100. So I don't know about that, but I did see the parlay. That was pretty awesome.
I don't know. My only thought is, what's the over/under for the next time he's betting his last $100 in weeks? Right. I don't think it's that much, to be honest.
It might be like next week.
Exactly.
Wow, that's a sweat. Do you know what the games were? Were there any?
I don't remember. No, I don't. I just glanced over it.
It was from yesterday, right, Eric? So it was like Carson. first touchdown, Eagles money line. It was like the under, and then like something with Bart Scott. It was like a crazy parlay, like same game parlay, and he hit it.
That wasn't Joey, was it?
It might be.
No.
We need to
What do
get
we think, guys? We need to get Joey in on the podcast.
We do, man. I was
Actually, on
trying to
these
bring
Friday
Joey
podcasts for previewing MMA, that would be a really good.
that would
idea.
be really
Well,
cool because
all
he's
right.
like a legend, man. I actually
a
didn't
legend.
even know this, but online people are like, he's on like best list to follow for gamblers, and
Yeah.
he's a real
We
deal.
gotta
So
we gotta make room on this in this big box we got here. We gotta make a room for a fifth and get Joey in here.
you can have the middle, man. Let's do it.
All right. All right. So there you go, folks. Next week, Joey. It's gonna be Joey time. If you think this is already great, you have no idea. We're going next level. So for Joey Odessa, and for Vic, and for Eric, and for Matt, thanks everybody. We will be back Tuesday. We'll recap Week 7. We'll start looking ahead to Week 8. Maybe we'll talk a little MMA. And have a great weekend.
Take care.